Hi, welcome to Nyheim Nights. I'm Joe, and these are my boys. Introduce yourself.
Hello. My name is Frog, a legendary DayzRP. Great to be here.
My name is Vicky. It's a great day here.
Everybody else is quiet because they're probably AFK, but that's fine. Who cares? Gives a shit. We have Valorous. He has COVID.
I do have COVID.
I play the character Joe Johnny, legendary news reporter and old man.
With dementia and wears a medical diaper and shits himself every 5 steps he takes.
That is not true, but I do have dementia. And then we have Frog, who plays Demi Toro, which is
I just said that you.
Nah, fuck you, idiot. Anyways, so that guy, he plays one of the funniest characters I've ran into, who's the greatest cannibal in known existence.
Thank you. I'm very honored.
Vicky, who do you play?
I'm playing Alisa, actually. She's making music and go around and just chill with people. Pretty much basic.
That's cool. Valorous, are you still alive?
Yep, I'm still alive. And I play Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson,
oddly named like the president. Also happens to be part of the Joe's podcast crew, which is an actual group in DayzRP. We're just gonna do an OOC fucking podcast today, just to kind of introduce ourselves, get around Nyheim Nights, discuss our goals with Nyheim Nights and how we want to run it. We love that we get to do this. This is interesting to us. We all wanted to help support the community, maybe get new players.
and we're doing this for you. Join now.
For you. So we all have been in DayzRP for a long time, I would say. Demi, how long have you been in?
I say since 2019, but officially 2020, since I did the one in 2019 when I was still in school and I had no PC. So technically I was just a sitting fucking duck.
Okay. Vicky?
And the first characters I played as well, the first character that I did play coming on to DayzRP was Dimitora Kolensky, funny enough.
Vicky, what was your first character and how long have you been in?
My first character, her name was Vicky, and she was pretty boring. It's been like, I would say 8 months from here. But yeah, my first character, like nobody knows her. Even me, I forgot her. But
I remember Vicky.
remember those times.
I remember Vicky. I joined in, I think it was November 2020, and I was playing John Bird at the time, and I remember Vicky very well. Vicky was all purple.
Oh yeah.
Vicky was
I'm
all
here now, by the way. Sorry about the wait.
All right.
Welcome back.
Introduce yourself, Taryn. This is Taryn, everyone.
Hey there.
So,
I play a character named Patrick Green, but he's popularly known as Jack, a combat medic from the U.S. military. Has been around since January, went through a few different groups, and is now currently where he is now. I myself have been in the community technically since late 2021, but I was only there for for the last week of the old lore, or the 50-year future Nyheim lore. After that, back then I was playing a character named Jacob Nielsen, who was a hunter that had lost a lot and really didn't have much. It was kind of like, the basic sort of backstory because I didn't know what I was getting into at the time.
yes, so that's actually a hint. My first character was John Bird, and I joined in. I actually had a tragic storyline with John Bird. He got infected. It was a fun time. I think Demi might have remembered it.
Yeah.
I had a real fun time playing John Bird with my Zaloy. Zaloy was one of my old friends. He was my first ever friend in DayzRP. I joined in, and we're basically going to talk about our beginning with Valorous. I think you have to tell us your start and your first character.
Yeah. So I joined the exact same day you did in November of 2021. My first character is my current character, and so I started recently getting into DayzRP about a couple weeks ago, and I've liked it ever since.
Yeah, that guys is the beauty of DayzRP. A lot of people, it's got its negatives. I'll say that, but the purpose of this podcast is to bring in IC knowledge when we go in IC podcast and out of character knowledge, so you guys can learn about the server, maybe get involved, maybe start your own character, join in. there's a lot of difficulties. I think everybody can agree getting into the server.
of course,
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
That are like just terrible, but you just got to fight through them. And I
exactly.
recommend fighting through them. We don't really know any cheats for it. Like, I wish I could
Well,
say some. There's
let's put
some,
it,
but they don't really
let's put
work
it as this.
anymore.
Let's put it as this: the way you get yourself into DayzRP is based on, if you really want to do this, if you really want to, dedicate. It sounds like, a fucking. So it sounds a bit,
Job
yeah. It's not like a fucking job application. It's not. Yeah, it's kind of like a job application. But if you want, if you want to become part of a community where we try our best to be, one of the best role playing servers out there, then be a part of it. Join it, make something new. Because the way I see it, as every survival game out there, they have roleplay servers. Some of them is good, some of them not so good. But the way I see it as, if you make an impact on DayzRP, like I've made an impact, fucking Homeless Joe's made an impact, it tends to get to people. And eventually when you get to people, you make more friends. Like I'm literally friends with like people who are now administrators who are not administrators. It's crazy. And it's about the respect as well you give to people. You give the people respect, they'll give it to you, and eventually you can build a friendship up.
Yeah, like with me, when I first joined, I was off by myself, didn't know anybody on the server. I ended up meeting in character a group of bikers that eventually led me to the ranch from sort of like the beginning few months of the current lore. That's how I ended up meeting a lot of my friends here. It's how I know all these wonderful people currently in this chat. It's gotten like I'm very close with a lot of the people that I met through that, and honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, it do take time, but at the end it's worth it. Like just me, it took me 2 months before finding friends to run around. And yeah, if you want, you can do it. And it takes time, but you need to be patient.
It does take a lot of time. I do say, like, Valorous, I met randomly. Like, meeting people in this game and getting in, you have to thrive to want to get in. And when you get in, you can make friends. It's not hard. There's places I would recommend avoiding for, like, starters. Like, if you want to get some good RP, but you don't want no hostile RP, I wouldn't recommend, if you do get into this new current lore, Milo's Camp. I would not recommend Milo's Camp for long.
Yeah, no.
I would recommend stopping in, meeting some people, and getting the fuck out. Because Milo's Camp, and this is all OOC knowledge, if you guys do join, which means you can't use it in character, you know nothing about it, is kind of it's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous place. I'd recommend coming in at least, or trying to get a friend and then coming. But there's whole groups, right? Communities hubs start. We call them hubs. They start, but they die out, right? They die out, and you find new ones. Fine example, Guglovo community. If anybody played in the Chernarus lore, which the last one, Guglovo was a big community, strong, right? It got wiped out because a couple people kept robbing them and doing all this. That can happen to anyone, right? Losing your stuff in DayzRP is not really important. It's the story that comes with it. So if I killed Demi doesn't have to PK. He doesn't have to permanently kill his character. He can say that I shot him in the arm or I wounded him and left him dead. And I would work with it. I'm not going to be mad about it. You just got to get used to that and throw with the punches. But you also ask for permissions and stuff like that before you think you're going to kill somebody, stuff like that. But like Frog, right? Frog can die and he's lost his stuff before and you get it back. It's part of the game. It's part of life. Things happen.
It'll stress you the fuck out, but
It'll stress you out. But it's all part of the story because we're in apocalypse, all right, guys? Like, it's not like you just are safe, right? I'm an old character. I doubt I'll get killed unless I do something stupid. I've made impacts. I think really with impacts, we could say a lot of us have made impacts in my opinion. Vicky, very big streamer on DayzRP in my opinion. Taran, great RPer for Milo's community, probably the steadfast for that area and like actually opening it up, playing a long character. Demi has been a staple point of like he's not even a main character syndrome character, and he basically runs like a whole story on his own. If you run into Demi, there's a story behind it. There's something gonna happen. Demi's probably gonna kill somebody.
Exactly.
Demi's probably hiding. Things like that, right? It's whole stories happen with that. And then there's my character, man. I'm like the chill, happy dude, right? I think anybody can agree with that. I've probably make people happy. I don't really do hostile RP.
Dancing on top of zombies to California Girl.
Dancing to California Girl because I have an MP3 player in game. Things like that, right? Like I'm just like a goofy old man who really just plays games with people, and I haven't really met any bad people. But if you don't have charm, some people might think, oh, I don't have charm. That's bullshit. Everybody has charm in their own way. You just got to find it. You got social problems, you're like scared of talking to people. That's fine. We have characters who play mute. They literally text, and they're probably the coolest people I've met. Like we had a guy named Jake. Jake's a really cool mute character who claims to be mute. That guy, really cool. Like
He only
things like
speaks
that.
through like ASL, which when we
Yeah,
do
and-
that, we would do like an asterisk or whatever saying in ASL, so we know it's not like writing it out. Kind of like type, you have to type out what type of action you're doing. Some people write down on notes, other people speak through sign language and things like that.
Oh, you can say
So-
to the person if they're doing ASL, why are you doing gang symbols for?
Yeah,
Which
exactly,
I know
like,
Dimitaro will be doing
the
one day.
amount of people that say
Yeah.
that, it's such
Yeah.
a headache.
I say it all the
Dimitaro will be
time.
Like, why the fuck you doing fucking gang symbols? What are you, part of the Crips or the Bloods?
Yeah, I say it. My character just thinks he's throwing gang signs because he doesn't understand what sign language is at all. So there's like whole plethora of stories, right? That's the beauty of DayzRP. And sure, there's times when there's like big groups. Like example, we had Kirch when I first joined. Kirch was a big annoying group that a lot of people didn't like because they ruined RP with just rushing everybody. They were like a police force that owned the city, and they were always assholes to everybody. You couldn't have military weapons, you couldn't have anything, right? So. Another question I have, guys. What brought you to the community? Like that would be my question for everybody. What brought you?
Good question.
So popular streamer. Well, I say popular. I don't know if he's popular anymore. But Mr. Moon, absolute amazing role player. His production is fucking amazing. And then I watched other streamers as well. Some of them weren't too big. Some of them were big. And I used to watch it. I thought, fucking hell, I want to be a part of this because when I was younger, I watched Mr. Moon's. It was like his old DayzRP videos, like dating back to fucking 2015. And as a kid, I was like, wow, I want to do that. I don't want to walk around and get shot. I want to experience that. And so I decided to fucking join the community. Obviously, when I was a kid, applied for it. Didn't do it too well because I didn't have a PC. But yeah, afterwards I was like, I can't wait for this. I can't wait to play this game. And when I finally got the PC and shit sorted, the first thing I did was download DayZ, played that game, played DayzRP for God knows how long, and I enjoyed it. And it just brought me to like so many things as well, like so many friends. The cutie group, I fucking know, amazing. I'm so glad to be a part of that group. Unfortunately, they archived, which I'm gonna miss. But they created a group called the Anarchists, and the Anarchists was so fucking cool. But
I remember
and that is how I started off in DayzRP, and that is what inspired me to be a part of the group.
Okay, Vicky, tell your story.
Yeah. Well, I made the switch from PS4 to PC. So when I got my PC, I said I miss roleplay. I was roleplaying on DayZ before on my console. And I got my PC, I wanted to do some roleplay, so I was like, why not try DayZ again? So I went on Google, do my little research, and first thing that pops up was DayzRP. Decided to try it. I was mostly alone, and then like me, I found as well some of the anarchists. After 2 months, got brought in, make some friends, and make myself a bit known in roleplay. And it made me stay. Because when I first joined, I was completely alone, but then toward the people I met, it was enjoyable, good memories, and it's not even the end of it.
Okay, Taryn.
So for me, I've been doing like a lot of different role plays and different games like for a long time, like since I was a lot younger. I've done a lot of D&D and things, and look, when I used to try to play DayZ, I was like, man, this would be something like really good for roleplay. And I started watching like YouTubers and things like that. Some of like the older people that were in DayzRP that ended up leaving or ended up doing other things. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try it because I love roleplay. It's enjoyable. I figured I could always meet some new people, and I ended up joining, and I've had a shitload of fun with it.
Valorous.
All right, so yeah, back in the day, I did not have the greatest PC to play many games on, and back then, I started playing DayZ on my PS5, and I really loved it. And I would usually play these faction servers or this conquest server I was on, which was mainly a lot of PvP, and I kind of really grew out of it. I didn't like it that much, and I was like, you know what? I want to try to look for an RP server on PlayStation. So I did. I found one. I played it. I kind of liked it, but then I was like, you know what? Maybe there's a community on PC that has RP. So I looked it up. I just looked DayzRP, and I just found DayzRP because I was like, okay, well, if this website has this domain, it must be a good community or a big one at least. So I was like, all right, let me apply to this, and then I got it. I got a new, a lot better PC. I applied. I did everything I needed to. I got in, and while I was whitelisted, I didn't play for a while. I played other games and whatnot, and just recently I started getting into DayzRP. Uh, and I didn't know anybody at all, and I just met people through in character, and that was basically it.
I actually have a question, Valorous. What is your current character, if you don't mind me asking?
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson. I'm not sure if I've met you yet in character.
Yeah, I think you
may
have.
have met.
Have I?
You have.
I've
He
met
was
a
the
lot
guy
of
we picked up
people in the past week.
Oh,
He was the guy we met in the helicopter. We dropped him off with his buddy who had the broken leg when you first met me.
Oh,
in the
right.
game,
Back
character.
up at the castle, right?
Yeah, at the castle back when the
Yep.
Oaks were around.
Yeah, okay. That's how I knew
Yeah.
you.
And
Okay.
then
So, yeah, Valorous?
I think you were the one who took me and two other people to the airfield.
Yeah,
Salute
that's
that
what
one
it
time.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'll say mine. I started out doing RP on another DayZ server. It doesn't exist anymore. I really loved it. I just felt it was so dead though, because there's not a lot of people, and it was really big on me. And I was so daunted by DayzRP, the name DayzRP, right? It was famous when I was looking at it, right? We had YouTubers, everybody was on this thing back in the day when I was young, growing up. So I was dang, DayzRP, that scares me. I don't know if I'm ready or if I'm prepared or if I go in there, people are going to think I'm not good enough, right? And it turns out that wasn't true. There's no such thing as not ever good enough in DayzRP. Uh,
It's
there's
all a
people who
learning experience.
it's all learning experience, learning how to RP with people and vibe. There's so many stories, but I saw Mr. Moon, like Frog, a really based YouTuber. I love that dude. That dude was amazing. Honestly, he was probably my favorite YouTuber for a long time. I'm sad he doesn't upload a lot, but he still does upload. I watch his streams. Very cool RPer, amazing RPer, right? I wish he'd come back. It'd be so cool. But there's like so much stories that form, I guess you could say, with things. We can get on that now as a question. We're going to start with, how did you meet Joe? How did you meet me? And then we'll go down and I'll tell you how I met each of you. So we'll start with Frog. Frog, are you here?
Yeah, so fucking hell, I can remember. It's been a while. The first time I met Joe was all the way back in fucking Chernaroos. I actually met Z there first time as well, funny enough. I used to play with some of Z's older characters, but when I met Joe, the first thing was, "Oh, hello, yes, oh my lord," the fucking the old voice. I thought to myself, this guy is going to be a fucking annoying, but this was my first thought. Is he going to be annoying? He's probably one of those fucking troll characters, because usually a lot of people who play old characters tend to play troll characters. But then he actually fucking brought out some good RP, and I was like, okay, I'm very impressed with this guy. Where the fuck did this come from? And he told me like his backstory and stuff. And yeah, he had some goofy moments, and I'll tell you what, I was like, fucking hell, I'm impressed with his, the balancing between goofy moments and roleplay, because that's another main factor, balancing roleplay with goofy moments. Because you need to be serious in serious situations, but you can be goofy while being in certain situations. But he balanced them perfectly, and then eventually he gave me a bit of his lore, I gave him a bit of mine, and from then we just became good friends. And then we messaged each other over Discord on the forums, and we made a good friendship. And it was amazing. And ever since then, we've expanded, we've grew bigger as a friendship, and it amazes me how far we've come as friends. And I'm glad to call everyone here my friends, because the way I see it, as anyone DayzRP is a friend of mine.
Anyone,
And
DayzRP, doesn't matter if you're an Nyheim
exactly,
boy or anybody. You guys are our friends, and I believe that.
exactly.
I love that I met Frog. When I first met Frog, I was in, I think it was Guglovo, and that's when I met
Yeah,
you.
it was.
Where
Yeah,
it was
clever.
in Guglovo. I just showed up. I was a UN member, I think, at the time. I
Yeah,
was an old
fucking
man. I was an old man
from
UN member.
UN
They
member to
hired me.
TikTok
Yeah,
influencer.
yeah. UN member to TikTok influencer. Um, I there's like a lot of I've been in DayzRP for a while, so at that point I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play an old character, right? I never played an old character, and I'm a goofy guy, but I also like to keep RP serious. And I have a buddy named Otto. I don't know if he plays in the community anymore. We
Oh,
still
I know
talk. I'm good
Otto.
friends with him. I've actually met him in real life, things like that. Otto's a good buddy of mine, and he's like, I need someone for the UN. Can you please help me out? And I'm like, that makes sense from old man. I have nothing else going for me. I literally know where no one is, right? I had no idea where anybody was, so I did it, and I found Good Globo, and that's how I started. And I met Dimmy, and when I
Mhm.
met Dimmy, I was like, "This dude, cool." I remember him. We were talking. We were like chasing some eye drop folk or something. I think it
Yeah.
was some like drug folk. And my character just, I fell in love with Demi's lore, and I think that our lore really matches for like balance because our characters really do lean on each other, in my opinion. Because
Mhm.
Joe really helps Demi, and Joe really relies on Demi to keep him safe a lot of the times. Because there's people who don't like me. Back in old lore, I was hunted by Cole. By back in Shannars. By when I say old lore, I'm talking about Shannars. I was hunted by cultists, and they did not like me. I was a newspaper artist. I did newspapers, and you can actually probably find them on the forums if you look up Shannars Times. I really love that shit, and so we started. That actually birthed this idea of this podcast. So that's how I met Demi. And Demi was probably one of the funniest dudes. I even rapped with him. There's a YouTube video out there. I think Miss Vicky has it on her YouTube channel.
Yeah, I do have it.
Where I was, where I
I
was,
need to
where I
watch
was,
that.
where I was rapping on on her channel because I was bored and it was like late at night and we were listening to some jamming music. This is before I had sound pads, so this is before I started jamming out. So that was really fun for me. Let's go into Vicky. Vicky, how did you meet me?
I think yeah, it was in Guglovo. Like I was founder of the Travelers, and we heard about this community in Guglovo, and we decided to go there to do some roleplay. You know, the roleplay at the time was pretty centered in one area in Generous, and you were deeply the guy in the UN, but what you were doing was doing newspapers and singing, doing rap battle, dancing, and you were coming into my expedition as well sometime and just adding some music there. It was fun. I think that's when I remember that I met you actually.
Sorry about that. And my sister was demanding me to do shit, and I was like, no. Either way, continue.
Oh, I'm over with that.
So I guess I'll go into how I met Vicky.
Yeah.
I met Vicky a long time before that, as not Joe, as John Bird. I met Vicky when she first got on the server. I was probably the first person she ran into. Um, I remember being the first person she ran into because she literally like didn't know where anybody was. Um, I took her to like River Point, I think, or a place, and then I left her there. But she was really cool. I met Vicky, and I was really happy. Like I found like a new white name because at the time white names were non-existent, dead.
Oh,
I was a
really?
white name at one point. Yes, you were the only new person we've had in so many months because the map was small. No one wanted to play
I was
it.
just
No one
going
liked new
around
lore.
like playing guitar with people, and that was pretty much
No,
it.
no one liked the new lore, right? So no one like joined in. So it was really hard on like people who've been RPing a while there. Was that I'm RPing with the same people. People still have the same gripes. There's no progress. You know what I mean? That was a big thing with that. And I was really glad to meet Vicky. And then Vicky stuck around on my mercenary adventures as John Bird. That was fun. We did broom clearing with Otto, and that's how I think Vicky met Otto also. That's how I met Otto. I met Otto on old Future Lore, and that's really how I met Vicky. Taryn.
So I'm somewhat recent to your whole meeting of people. I ended up meeting you after the whole Chernars thing and everybody started coming back to Nyheim. I believe I had met you. Was the first time I met you was when I was in the helicopter with Rook, right? We started
Mhm.
rolling around there.
Mhm.
We were going around, had some funny moments. My first impression of him was like silly guy, old man, interesting. Like, like there's a lot of serious shit that goes on, so the sort of silliness that you can get at times is a breath of fresh air. Now, of course, it's not always silly, it's not always serious. There's always going to be that balance. Yeah, my first impression of Joe was old man thinks the infected are not infected, but just people on bath salts.
Yeah.
Like Jack's impression was like, oh man, this dude's kind of on my nerves. But me, I kind of fell in love with him pretty quickly.
I think from the consensus I found when I met you, I thought you were really cool. I met you out of character a while ago. We played games a long time ago together. We played a lot of games together. You didn't know it was me at first. I'm just gonna say that. But I had a great time. I think Jack's character. Jack is a great character. I will give you that.
Thank you.
I'm worried about your future.
His future
Right,
could go
you
many
bastard.
different ways at this point. He's at a really big set of crossroads.
So, update for people who are like, what are we talking about, right? You guys are talking in between each other. There is, we'll give you a little backstory, a short backstory. You guys think that'd be okay? You think we could give them a short backstory with recent events?
Yeah,
Sure thing, my good sir.
I think that would work. So, I'll just tell it from Joe's point of view because that way it's not construed. There's no, there's only Joe's point of view, and then there's no like actual maybe lore hidden facts, right? And people can't use it against you. So, I usually hang around Milo's camp. I used to. We'll start with the beginning, right? It's all started when I got kidnapped. I got kidnapped in Milo's camp by Vadim. Vadim, if you are listening, you're a fucking amazing RPer, and I hope I made you laugh. I hope I made you laugh like a motherfucker. I got kidnapped with Nikki, which is another character. My daughter character. There's a character who plays my daughter called Jolene Johnny, and then we got kidnapped with Jake. Right? That's somebody else leaving. Don't worry about that. Let's just a bystander. Oh yeah, Jake. And Jake, we all got kidnapped, right? And we took us to this thing. We did this test or whatever. And I was cracking jokes and stuff. And then so Nikki just got kidnapped for like the 90th time.
God, she gets kidnapped.
She gets kidnapped constantly. She's like, I don't know what's up with that. Anyways,
she's becoming the main character.
She's becoming the main character. So she comes up. We come back, right? And I'm walking with her, and I'm joking at Milo. So Milo was at the time, I think, her ex.
Still is.
Still is. Well, of course it is. But at the time, she was like just fresh ex, and she was still like obsessed with him. And it was kind of funny to me because I made jokes about it, and I think I hinted at like, oh yeah, this and that. We got back, and this is when all hell broke loose between Joe's point of view, right? So Nikki got shot by Desmond. Desmond, if you're also listening, great fucking RP, love you. He shot her after some lies that Milo said that she did or something. Rumors spreading, right? That's what Joe believed. And so Nikki was broken, and that was where all things kicked off. Jake wasn't there, or not Jake, Jack wasn't there, so Jack couldn't really do anything about it. And so like Milo's camp has really been a big issue with like the drama recently with multiple characters, I would say. Demi, Taryn, and me. And then right after that, right? Like she gets shot again, like by NBC suits.
And the other leg, mind you.
And the other leg. So NBC suits are like a lore faction that aren't really players, really. They're like events, right? They'll just show up and they'll fuck you up. They're like a government faction. No one really knows anything about them. They harass a lot of groups. They harass Milo's camp a lot. Pretty cool times. Basically, all that leads down to, and it's been down this winding road of people getting fucked up, get kidnapped. Like yesterday, right? Yesterday, dude gets kidnapped. I got kidnapped, but they maybe let me go because I'm funny, and I took off my armband. And so they let me go, but they kidnapped some people. They took his shit. They beat him up, and they took his shit, right? I believed. I didn't really want to stick around, right? And so like it got to a point where Milo's camp kind of shifted in this drive, right? Like this feel. I think anybody could agree with me on this that it's less like a campfire place when it first started, and now more like you go there, you get robbed. It's like a trader. So we have traders in game. They're not all that great, but there's traders in game, and those usually you can get fucked up at, you get robbed at. People kind of wait at certain traders. So that's what it feels like to go to Milo's place, is go to a trader's. So a lot of characters have stopped going, like entirely. I know people would go to Raven Rock. I've never been there. I've only been there like by car, so I don't really know where it is.
Is Raven Rock Lithuanian? Is that what they're calling it? The one that's up north near Storvik?
Maybe. I have no idea. But there's like a bunch of story with like Milo's camp, and if you are a new player, I recommend going, or don't go if you don't want to have some like crazy RP. If you want to chill out, I beseech you if you want to chilled out RP where like you want to just a little bit of fun, I will take you on an adventure. Like, oh, Sealy, I'm telling you, I'll take you on an adventure. If you find me, Sealy, you can ask me about things. You can talk to me, and I probably will offer you an adventure before you even know anything. I offer everybody something. I give people food.
That's only if he don't kidnap you and take you away and start dancing in front of you.
Yeah, that too, yeah. But I don't kidnap anybody. I don't think I've only killed one person.
Yeah,
I killed that man. I killed
With
that
your
man
own
hard.
2 hands.
My own 2 hands. I beat him to death, but that was beyond the point. There's like a bunch of yeah. There's a bunch of stuff going on in current lore, and I beseech you, if you do get into the game, to come find out this lore and maybe pick up some hints. Right? I'm a great news source. We'll eventually do a podcast in character where we'll talk about this stuff where you can use that. We are stating when we will say we'll go IC. That is when you can use that information that we're saying. That is not OOC knowledge. That is a podcast broadcast. We are spitting it out to the world. Everybody can hear it. That is the truth.
That sounds cool.
And
Podcast broadcast.
The one we're doing right now is just a sort of like introduction for all you new people to allow you to get a sort of look into what goes on and what you can expect from us.
Exactly. So what is, I got another one. What is your least favorite interaction you've ever had in DayzRP? I will name mine. It was a guy named Vincent or Victor or something. I think it was Victor. Demi knows about him. He was a RPer who was just, he didn't understand RP. He took it as him, right? So he would take offense to anytime he died. He would get mad and scream, spam your DMs. Terrible player. He broke OOC a lot. He would just spout random shit. He would demand things from players.
He was just quite a salty person.
And he would kill friendlies in firefights on purpose. Like it was
Jesus.
Yeah, it actually, he was just a salty person overall. That was probably my least favorite interaction. That was one out of like all the times I've been in, and I will say that was probably my least favorite. Demi?
Oh, fucking hell. I have quite a few, actually, to be honest, but I'm going to stick with the most...
Your top.
The most obvious one. I'd say it was a time where it was fucking chaos, right? So there was an event in the city. Shit was going down. We did the event, I was like, well, that was a good event. That was a very good event. And then some, I think, banditry type people, which were known to cause a lot of problems. And what I mean by that is, basically what happened is they would fucking come to events for the sacred reason of robbing. They didn't want to fucking roleplay. They came up to you, said, put your hands up or you're going to die. And with me, I fucking hated that. I severely hated that. It pissed me off all the time. And so when that happened, there was a lot of problems, a lot of people getting told, saying to admins, like, listen, sort this shit out, fucking, I can't roleplay due to the fact I need to keep an eye on my back just in case someone tries to rob me. And the admin said they'd sort it out, in which they did. But what they were doing was they were just mostly ruining people's experiences by just coming up to you and saying, put your hands up or you're going to die, after an event where you got loads of rewards out of it. For example, like guns, weapons, ammunition. They just come over and say, yeah, this is our now, put your hands up or you're all going to die. And a lot of people did die because of it.
Yeah, I would say that I heard about that. That is annoying. Hit to new players that do come in, or if you're listening, do not just rob somebody and not RP with them.
Yeah, you have to have, another quick tip. If you don't rob somebody just because they have something that you want, you have to have a in-character reason for why you want to rob them. Other than just, oh, that's a really good gun, I'm going to go ahead and take that, and you can be on your merry way.
Yeah, you have to actually bring up reason. Like, if dude got a scar and you want that scar, you got to have beef with him, right? You got to either have, like, you want to be a bandit, you got to be evil, right? But if you're not an evil character and you're trying to rob him just because you want to rob him, that's fucking not going to work, dude. That's just a fucked up thing. You want to rob him because you don't even have beef with them. You just want to rob him. There's no reason, I think we have Vicky. What is your least favorite? We'll go on to you.
I don't know. I don't really have a least favorite. I'm kind of... so I would say I don't have a comment on that one.
Okay. Taryn?
Let's see. For kind of bad RP, it was just a bad situation. The role players themselves were not bad. It was just kind of a weird situation. So me and a few friends, we were going around and we decided to make kind of like annoying like Valley Girl characters because we were bored. We wanted something to kind of change it up, have a little bit of fun. So we're going around doing that, and then two people come by. Keep in mind, these Valley Girl people, they are not armed. Like they go around with like a baseball bat and maybe like a pistol, whereas most people run around with rifles. So they come by and they get annoyed. They tell us put our hands up. They bring us over to a building, start having us do a bunch of weird demands, like making us squeal like pigs for no reason, making us fight each other because we were quote unquote annoying. And then ended up trying to get us to do something we really weren't comfortable with, which I won't really go too far into it, but let's just say it wasn't really acceptable for the server. All in all, that was really like the only bad experience I've had. The only other one would be a person that was playing a kid named Bandit, which that was just a younger kid that didn't really understand role play as much and was trying to learn, but he ended up kind of getting burned out of it and ended up leaving, as far as I know.
Okay. Valorous, I don't think we ever did ask you how'd you beat me. I'm sorry.
Oh,
You just have
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I met you in character with my one buddy Jackson, who I still have yet to find because I never got his radio frequency, and I'm trying to talk to him sometime. But yeah. So what happened was we were both in I think it was either a car or a truck. And he was like, "Oh, there's a helicopter, and it's landing in the road right in front of us." So I was like, "Okay, well, it's time to leave because I'm hesitant of meeting people, especially with people who are powerful enough to have a helicopter." And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go say hi to them." And then I was like, "Oh gosh." So then he bolts down the street. Then you guys hop out of your helicopter. Then that's when we first met and we first talked. And then I think that's it. But when we met OOC, was the second time we saw each other in character at that one military building near Milo's camp, where we kind of scared each other, I think. And yeah,
What was your first impression? Because everybody else kind of said theirs. So
of you,
yeah, of the character, yeah.
um, I thought you were a good, nice old man. Uh, that would be role playable with, and yeah, I mean it was a good experience so far.
Safe answer. Safe answer. Bang. No. Bam. No, so there's a lot of like updates, right? I'm trying to think of like more questions to ask.
Oh, do you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
My
Bad
experience?
experience. Bad experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've only had one iffy experience, and that was when I was at Milo's camp. I was with Milo and Nikki, and there's these sketchy guys there who I've never seen before. And what happened was, uh, they were like weird. I don't know where they came from or what their motive was, but they were just weird. Something was off about them. So what happened was, Milo led me and Nikki out of the camp somewhere into a town to go loot it real quick, and then he was like, "Yeah, we should go back to where these sketchy guys are," and where they ran off into the woods out of our camp, out of Milo's camp. So then we go back to the camp. They're just hanging around us still, and then we get oh gosh, what's the word? Anyway, we get robbed. I don't know.
Initiated.
Yeah, we got robbed. I think they were looking for kitchen timers. I don't know what their motive
Oh.
was, except for that they apparently were paid. That's all I knew. And then I got my stuff stolen, and that was just it.
Okay. That happens. I could see that happening a
Yeah.
lot actually. Weird players coming in.
Well,
Another
also
thing.
mercenary groups and
Yeah,
stuff. If they're
mercenary
paid to
groups.
do something, they'll go and do it.
Yeah, they will. Another tip to the new guys: if you guys come in, if you come in, don't do something big like leave a truck or something at a camp and then log off and never come back. 'Cause that's annoying. That is so
Oh, God.
annoying for players. Because if you lock it, we can't move it. That truck's just there forever, right?
Up
And
until we lockpick it.
up until we lockpick it. Lockpickers are expensive and stuff like that. We really just can't handle that, right? So I beseech you to do that, guys. Please, if you guys come in, don't leave trucks or any vehicles around and then just never come back. Especially not in main ways or places that you know players are. It's gonna be harassment. Um, I think like there's some cool stuff. DayzRP could offer you. It offers everybody something unique. If you want campfire RP, that's a term that we use, which is chill. You just sit around a campfire and you just chill with people. You vibe. You don't really you talk about the events. It's kind of a detox from all the toxicity or murder that you're gonna experience. I recommend going away from main hubs when you do that. I always like to go on adventures. So the map's big. We play on a map called Nyheim. Nyheim is like is Norway, right?
Mhm.
It's basically like this icy, greenish, like beautiful map where you can travel and find places covered in fog and mystery. Like I went yesterday to an island I call Ghost Island, where it's just covered in fog and it's mysterious and there's
Was
like
that
all this
Oya?
like oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all like mysterious and like spooky. And then you can go into like more lighter places if you want to have the greatest thing I found out about Daisy, besides RP, murder, and all the cool zombies and all that, is the environment. That's sitting
Mhm.
in the woods, wind bustling in your ears, you just chilling with a dude playing a guitar, or you don't even have to play a guitar. I have soundpad. I say I have an MP3. Right, that is one of the main equipment I always have on me. I have an MP3, and I'll be playing smooth, like chill music low, and so everybody can just chill and relax, and people take screenshots, and you're just chilling, right? And it's that brings me to DayzRP. I don't love or I don't hate hostile RP at all. I actually think it's kind of fun, but I don't want to constantly be kidnapped or constantly be murdered or constantly be attacked every single day. So I like to detox some days. So that's another tip is to break it up, right? Break up your hostile and
Mhm.
your aggressive. Uh, don't always be aggressive. Try to go and do some, just chilling, meet some new people, or get out of there and try to run into somebody. Most people, your Daisy instincts will kick in. That is a thing. If you've played Daisy before you play DayzRP, it will kick in. And I'm sorry, guys, but do not just shoot a person if you see them or be afraid of them if you see them. If you think you know that person, then you could be kind of afraid if you have an idea or if you're getting chased. But if it's a new guy, don't be like, look at him and then he sees you and he comes running to come talk to you and you run off. Like, that's just a little weird. And it's kind of like, you're not supposed to do that, right? You're supposed to RP with the people.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
and a quick tip for something that I've noticed a lot of new players do. If you're trying to get a look at someone from a distance, use binoculars. Don't aim down your sights at them, because that'll
oh,
sketch
yes.
a lot of people out, and it might bring trouble your way. It's best to like find a pair of binoculars,
Or take a
just
scope and have it.
or take the scope off of your gun and use that to look through, because like people get sketched out. Hell, that might even paint a target on your back, cause you to get robbed. So it's something to keep in mind to make sure that you're not giving anybody the wrong vibe.
So I think that's been a good introduction video. I think everybody can agree, right? We've done
Mhm.
basically the TID points, what we need to know, what do you need to know about Nyheim Nights. This is Nyheim Nights. And thank you for joining us. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace.